Well, we're updating the railroad again here.
Oh, we sure are.
We've been following this all summer long. As you can see, the new bench work is in, and we showed that in the show. And then our most recent update was showing the scary part of punching the hole in the side of the garage.
I'm glad that hole is there because I kept thinking of Harry Potter and the 9 3/4.
Yeah, we're not going to just go straight through the brick wall.
No.
Anyway, now I have to put the ramp together. I'd already built the ramp so I could figure out where the hole was. Now it all has to be bolted and screwed in place. I'm using these masonry anchor screws from Home Depot. And that way I can attach the back side of the framework directly to the cinder blocks by just attaching them with these masonry screws. And then everything else sort of builds off of that. And there it is.
Oh, neat. It's
So
there.
It actually went together. It was all cut out and ready to go, and I was hoping it was going to go together, and it did.
Right, no more sleepless nights.
No kidding. There it is. Now I wanted to just temporarily put the track in place to make sure that was going to line up.
Of course.
And make sure that the trains will go up and down. There's a vertical curve at the top here, and I have to test for derailing.
Oh, I could just see that train falling off.
And now to waterproof everything. We're just covering everything over with rolled roofing.
Right.
The whole thing is built just like a shed. It's OSB, plywood, particle board, whatever you want to call it, covered over with roofing material. So it's just exactly like a shed roof or something. Notice that there's a gap here.
Yes.
There's going to be a truss bridge.
Oh, I hope so, because I'd hate to see Dukes of Hazzard with the train.
So at some point I'm going to build a truss bridge, but in the meantime I just put together these little vertical supports.
I kind of like the looks of that. It gives me ideas.
Well, you can kind of get a sense of what that's going to be like, but that way we can actually drive trains up and down without them falling into the gaposis there.
I don't want that.
Now what doesn't show on the video is it's really hot.
Yes, that's really hot.
The ambient temperature was 101 and the roofing material had heated up to 138.
Oh, gee, our tar would be melting.
It was. But look at this. The rail is heated up to 160 degrees. So I can't even touch it.
No.
But there's an upside to this, believe it or not. And that's that I can close the gaps all the way up.
There you
because
go.
I don't need to worry about this rail ever getting any hotter than this.
I sure hope not.
And then as it cools off, the gaps just open up the exact right amount. I don't have to predict that at all.
Well, there you go.
I'm laying it when it's this hot. And now we have to start finishing the waterproofing once the rolled roofing material is placed. And this is what we've done on the whole railroad. All of the seams are closed up just using window caulk.
Yes, and he's able to find a matching color, which is so cool.
Well, window caulk is available in all kinds of different colors.
Well, that's just a perfect match.
Now, the other problem is there was no benchwork inside the building.
No.
So holes have to be cut through the sheetrock walls and benchwork built. Otherwise, we pull a train in, it's just going to fall on the floor in the bathroom.
Well, and I hate to say where it's going to fall through, too, in the bathroom.
It's going to land in the toilet.
Exactly, with a splash.
With a splash. So had to go through here and cut out all of these holes. Fortunately, in building the walls, I pre-designed this so that the studs were in the right place, and I knew exactly where these holes were going to get cut. They just hadn't been cut yet. So everything just had to be measured out and built, and then all of the road bed put in place. We're using Homosote and sound deadening board in different places. All of the track is laid on top of a road bed.
Yes.
The nice thing about building benchwork inside is it's not 101 degrees in here.
No, it's a mere 82, but...
We also started figuring out what we want to do for tunnel portals. And those are probably the next thing that we have to build now is a whole bunch of tunnel portals. I did want to make sure that all of the track was plumb level and square.
Absolutely.
As I was going along so that we didn't run into operational problems later on. There is a section right here where this level is that's... well, it's another gaposis.
Ay, ay, ay.
This is the big gaposis. So there's going to be a 5-foot tall, 6-foot long trestle right here. So in the meantime, we won't be running trains through this area.
No.
But at least now we can run the trains outside.
Yeah.
And we can actually run the trains up and down the ramp through the hole and into the bathroom.
Yes, that's always fun.
Because maybe trains need to go from time to time
That's
as well.
right, yeah, passing through.
Thing is, though, all of the wiring outside has been temporary. And so now that the bench work is in, I have to go through and permanently install wiring.
Yes.
So the first wire I'm running here is a 6-conductor data wire that I bought off of Amazon that runs the entire length of the railroad and ties into the Digitrax for the LocoLink. And that way, should we need to tie into it for any reason, there's a data connection all the way under the entire railroad, all the way from the tough shed through the inside of the building here, all the way over to the Digitrax controller. There's also a 10-gauge bus wire that runs the length of the entire railroad, and then every single length of rail is soldered to this bus line.
Well, that's heavy wire.
Yeah, and it's overkill, but I've never regretted overdoing anything.
Right.
And then you suggested using regular household light switch.
Right, because that wire will not wrap around anything small.
Yeah, I tried using toggle switches, and that was a waste of time.
It was a disaster.
But the 10 gauge will hook right up to these light switches, and the light switches are designed to cut off the power to 2 different parts of the railroad.
Oh, good.
I wanted to be able to cut the power to the logging railroad if we're not actually running it up there.
With good reason.
Because so far we've just been running DC trains up here.
Right.
And so if I have a DC train setting up here and I'm feeding at DCC, it's sitting up there humming and burning out the motor.
Right.
So I can just throw the switch that controls the logging railroad and kill power to it if we're not using it.
Exactly.
Much better. And then the other switch does the exact same thing for the outdoor part of the railroad.
Oh, good.
So there's 2 switches right together, one that turns off the logging railroad and then one that breaks the track. Right here at the opening in the garage, there's an insulated rail joiner, a pair of insulated rail joiners right there, and then I can shut off power to the entire outside. I was thinking I might need to do that in inclement weather,
Yes.
the winter, any number of different reasons where if we're just running inside, I don't want to feed power to the outside. And so there's another switch for just killing the bus line where it goes outside. Anyway, now with the bus line, a contiguous bus line all the way from one end of the railroad to the other end, and with every piece of rail soldered to the bus line, it means that the entire railroad, inside and outside, is being fed DCC.
Oh, nice.
So we can take our DCC locomotives and run them on the new section here, and we can even run them outside.
Oh, cool.
Now, there was some concern that running them outside, we wouldn't be able to run DCC in inclement weather, and all kinds of people said, well, that's never going to work. Well, it rained.
Oh, it sure did.
And I thought, here's the opportunity to see if those people know what they're talking about, because it's not going to get much wetter than that.
No.
Not a problem.
Oh, good.
I just fed the DCC. Look at that. It's running just perfectly in standing water.
Yes.
So if this whole system was going to be shorted out by water or something like that, right now it looks like it's running through the Everglades or something.
Uh-huh.
And it's just fine.
Oh, great.
Not a problem. The other thing is I was concerned that the radio would need an extender outside to reach the far end of the railroad. Not a problem.
Oh, nice.
The handheld unit reaches all the way from the far end of the railroad outside without a problem at all. Now, there are times in the construction of any railroad when something happens that's both good and bad.
Oh.
The trains get so fun to operate that you stop building and you just screw around with your trains.
Yes.
And if you're not careful, the whole project will come to a grinding halt here as you spend all of your time playing trains. Mm-hmm. And I have to confess that I've been playing a lot of trains.
Yes.
As soon as it cools off outside and it's, the sun starts setting, we're out here running trains back and forth and back and all over the place.
But it's fun.
It's fun. I mean, that's what the railroad is there for. But Well, I'm not at the bench building anything if I'm out here screwing around.
Well, sometimes you have to just to keep sanity.
Absolutely, especially when it's too hot to come out here and do anything, and then when it cools off, it's like, well, let's put a couple of, we just back these locomotives out.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Just experimenting.
A cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember all these codes, and then they're different for different locomotives.
Right.
But almost everything is running on Tsunami.
Right.
So it'll all have the same codes, except for the Mexicano 14.
Uh-huh.
It'll march to the beat of its own particular drummer. But isn't it neat to be running DCC outside?
That is fun.
It's finally cooled off.
A little
It's
bit.
101 today.
Yes.
And humid.
And humid to boot. We've got clouds.
Beautiful sunset over there.
Yeah.
Flange squeal. Trying to figure out how to open the cylinder cocks.
Oh. Well, there's the wheel slip.
That shuts the sound off. Is this neat or what?
That is really cool. That's a lot of fun.
This time of day is great out here. First of all, it's cooled
cooler.
off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's a sunset.
There's the sunset.
It's pretty cool.
That is really cool. It's really cool.
So I think you've got some ideas on the tunnel portal over there.
I think we'll build it out like make it come out more so that the weathers don't come inside.
Yeah.
If we extend it past the hole quite a ways, then it can storm all it wants to and it won't be coming inside.
And some cliff face and a tunnel portal.
Yeah.
And then inside there'll be a wood tunnel portal with doors.
Right.
So that we can close it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then a big insulation plug.
Right.
Just to plug it up.
That should keep it.
That should make it work.
Right. Keep the varmints
I think
out.
we have a plan.
Right.
As always, there's always the option of complete failure.
And
then we do it differently.
If we come in one day and there's a bunch of squirrels playing poker at the workbench, it's like
that there was a malfunction.
Failure.
Yeah, failure, fail.
Yep.
It's sort of hard to believe that it's taken us 4 years to get to this point.
Well, I think we would have been there quicker had things worked out better in the beginning.
Well, the whole first railroad got completely torn apart and restarted all over.
Right.
That cost us a year.
Exactly.
So technically, this isn't 4 years worth of work. It's 3 years worth of work plus 1 year worth of horrible mistakes.
Hair pulling, yeah. That's railroad stop 9 3/4.
I better not go past there.
No, that's what I say. It's railroad stop 9 3/4. You'd have to get a run and jump and see if you could make it through.
We're running Silverton Northern 34 here. Of course, this is part of our Connie project.
Right.
We're building 3. Well, we're building 2, and Donna's building 1 of these Bachmann consolidations. We've also got a C16 with DCC in it, and then some 30 or 40 DC locomotives that all need to be converted to DCC. But this one, we've got 2 trains that we're running out here right now, Silverton Northern 34 and Mexicano 14. And so far that's all we're really running out here, but that's plenty.
Oh, right now, yes.
Yes.
Flicker.
Yeah, we've got a small power issue here on these 3 switches.
Yes.
And Mike over at Yagas Creek is building us 3 brand new switches to replace these. These are old switches with some aluminum components, and they've been giving us fits.
Oh, aluminum does that.
And at that point, it'll be Yagas Creek track from one end to the other. That's all I want to use out here. It's worked out so well. Get rid of absolutely everything else, and certainly get rid of anything made out of aluminum.
Oh, for sure.
It's a railroad.
There it is.
There it is. Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, if you're not a subscriber, or if you want to financially support the channel, become a member. Anyway, you can get over to the channel and subscribe, which doesn't cost a darn thing, by clicking on the upcoming blue button. Right there.
There it is.
There it is. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring. And we will see you here on Tuesday with some Tuesday foolishness. See you then.
See you,
Bye-bye.
bye.